an AppleVis original.
Hello and welcome to AppleCrunch for June 2025. My name is Thomas Domville, also go by the name of AnonyMouse. Yes, we are back once again, guys, and here we are with the gang, and we got a special new voice for you, so a mystery voice. I'll introduce that new voice to you in a moment, so let's just say hello to Mr. John Gassman. How are you, Mr. John?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. You've been enjoying yourself for the past couple months?
Oh, yeah. Always stuff going on. I did a nice cruise, and we have a convention coming up shortly before you hear this, and then another cruise in September. So lots of stuff going on this summer.
2 cruises in a year. That's, I am jealous because you got to go on a Hawaii cruise. That is amazing. Maybe I'll have to join you in a cruise one of these days.
That would be fun.
We have to go on a Disney.
We should do a Disney. Yeah, we should do a Disney cruise someday.
Exactly. I'm all board. And then over here, we got Mr. Marty Sobo. How are you, Mr. Marty?
Doing good. Thank you very much.
Have you
Glad
been
to be
keeping
here
yourself
again.
busy?
Oh, yeah. Always busy.
Always busy, too?
Yeah.
You're keeping yourself busy with the unmute?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Well, speaking of unmute, you got a new voiceover unmute, and she is going to be joining us on AppleCrunch from here on out. So I am so happy to introduce you to all of you to Desiree Renae. How are you, Desiree?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. And how have you been doing, Des?
Oh, it's been good. We're finally getting some warmer weather, so that's always nice in Oregon. And although in Texas, when I used to live there, I dreaded the warmer weather, but now I look forward to it.
Yeah, Texas gets really hot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Early in like March, April. Yeah. So
You're probably not going to miss that, but I bet you're going to miss the sun a lot.
No, not too bad. No, I mean, I enjoy it when it comes out here. I think I appreciate it more.
Well, okay. Now, how long have you been in Oregon then?
Almost 2 years. My husband lived here, and so we got married 2 years ago on Monday, actually, and then moved here. So,
well, happy anniversary to you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So those are the new people that we got on. So we got the guys and the gals going on. All right. So now we got Desiree to keep me on track now. We have been gone for a couple months, and it's pretty much been a technical issue, guys, and I apologize for this, but for some reason it got to the point we were unable to upload any podcast to AppleVis for a couple months, and it was like, oh my gosh. And that's probably why you guys saw so many podcasts just get bombed during May. I mean, I think there was up to about 18 podcasts we published, and that was because it kept piling up. But we finally got that fixed, and we're up and running, and so we are back on track. Now let's go ahead and talk about the kind of the afterthoughts and what we thought of the WWDC and probably the announcement, what they had for the GAD from Apple's when it comes to what's going to be new for accessibility. So really, I thought, since we all pretty much know what was mentioned in WWDC, I thought maybe we can discuss about what are the 2 or 3 things that you really love about what you heard and probably are looking forward to. And I thought maybe we could start with that. John, were you able to kind of catch up and see all the new things that are coming out?
Yeah, there are a couple of things, although unfortunately, most of the stuff that Apple sends out when they do these announcements is visually oriented, and so it doesn't really pertain to me as a blind person that much. I know how it could pertain to people who are partially sighted, but for most of us, the stuff, nice to hear, but okay, so what? I can't use it, so but they're making progress on things, and there were a couple of items, and now I'm trying to remember what they are, that I wanted to mention. One of you guys will probably mention them as we move along, but it was interesting, and it's always good to keep up with what's coming up in the near future. Some of which we can use, some of which we can't. But that's the way it goes. They're really aiming for the market of people who are sighted and can use a lot of that stuff, and so you just have to deal with the fact that we're not going to be able to use everything, and that's the way it goes.
You know what? You're right, John. There's two big things came out of this was visually this liquid glass, and that you all been hearing about, and that's not going to really pertain to those that are blind, but will create havoc on those with low vision, which is very unfortunate from what I've heard early initial. However, it's early days in beta, so I know that low vision folks aren't the only one that's having this trouble, because with the new latest beta, they were doing some tweak to some of the liquid glass that normal people could see. We're having difficulty seeing in control panel, or I'm sorry, the control center. I'm not on Windows here. And that is kind of an issue, but you're right. Liquid glass was kind of a big discussion, wasn't it? And unfortunately, I haven't seen anything like that kind of side tracking myself, so there's no anything like that. And the second thing, the Apple Intelligence is really starting to push, as in you're starting to see the separation between the people that now don't have the Apple Intelligence. Last year, some of the new Apple Intelligence were so small, it's like, nobody's going to really care. But this year, it seems like there's a little bit more. It's going to affect some people more than they had last year, and I think this is going to get worse. How about you, Des? Was there anything, couple things that you saw or heard that you're pretty excited to kind of check out for yourself?
For me, I really like the idea of being able to share accessibility settings with other people. I typically do a lot of tech support for family members that are sighted. And so I have to turn on voiceover, and then, it's not on touch type, or it's all these default settings. So being able to kind of, transfer my accessibility settings to their device directly, I think is a really cool thing. I can't wait to see how that goes. And then, some of the podcasting, I don't have an iPad. It might make me buy one at some point. I used to have one, and my daughter inherited it from me. So, but the podcasting things, on the iPad are exciting to me as well.
That is, I'm glad you pointed that out. And that is a really cool feature, Desiree. I was going to ask you, because you still do training for people and things like that, right?
Yes. My actual job is testing. I test websites and different things. So, and for Pearson. And so, I have to know how to use all of these different operating systems and devices in different scenarios. Mm-hmm. But I do offer some training, just very basic training for people if they are interested in that, not just in Apple and iOS, and but also Windows and JAWS and NVDA and all that stuff.
I was thinking that this could be really beneficial for trainers out there, assistive trainers out there that to do. And this would have been a godsend, because you're absolutely right. And I will show you where you can find that in a little bit. I thought I showed you some cool stuff on the iPhone. I'll show you where that's at. It's not.
Oh, do you have the beta?
Yes, I am.
I'm so tempted, but I don't want to brick my phone, so I'm a little nervous about it.
You got more
I don't
than
have a
one
backup.
phone. Yeah, if you don't have a backup, it's really tough. I don't either.
I have a 13 that's my work phone, but that's not really a backup,
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
That is a really cool feature, because once you tap on that item, then you just get close to the other phone, and it'll sense that you want to share it, and they'll say accept.
Now, does it work on phones that don't have that same iOS?
You got to have the same OS.
Okay. So
it's no good right now until everybody gets...
everybody's on it. Yeah. So maybe one of my kids will get grounded from their phone, and I'll use theirs and do the beta.
For their phone. Here you go. You go fix it. That's so funny. What about you, Marty? Was there anything cool that stand out to you?
I got to agree with Desiree. I think probably the iPad is the biggest update in terms of the capability of what the device can actually do. A lot of people were really frustrated with the iPad because it's so overpowered. And what do you use it for? It just seems such overkill in the hardware compared to, for what it can do. But now they're bringing, a lot of things that people have been asking for a long time. Specifically, one of the biggest, most requested things, which Desiree was talking about, is being able to capture video and audio, from multiple sources. So what that means is before you could only be in one app at a time and you couldn't record or do anything else because it would time out, or you couldn't run two apps at the same time and it wouldn't have the capacity to be able to record video or audio, at the same time. So now you can be in Zoom or Teams or whatever it is, and you can record there as well as record locally video and audio to the device, depending on what your needs are going to be. So I really think that's game changing, and I think it's going to take huge steps forward in what the iPad can do. And I'm curious to see how far they actually push the envelope.
That's really interesting now that you put it in that perspective. I hadn't really thought of that, and that is huge. But I was thinking at the same time, since it's becoming like a hybrid between a Mac and an iPad, which I think was needed, but the tiling, I'm thinking the training on that, now you get to have two things. So if you can have one thing up on the right side, there's going to be a lot more touch explore going on there, is my thought, is that all this tiling as well. I thought that was could be useful for some people.
Yeah, I would say probably more if you're sighted, because regardless of how much you can multitask, for somebody who's got to use VoiceOver, you can only read in one thing at a time. So
yeah,
we'll have to see how that goes.
Obviously we all have multiple windows at the same time. So I'm always like alt tabbing on my windows just to go from screen to screen to check something, copy over here, and then come back over here, do this. So I'm always multitasking. I wonder if the iPads would be something similar, if I can do on the keyboard, if there's easy to just say alt tab or some equivalent key that will allow me to just go back and forth like that, and then just the app switcher. I suppose it's going to be like an app switcher, but I don't know.
If you have a keyboard, from what I was told, you're able to do Command Tab and it will, go through the different apps like it would on a Mac. If you have 5 different apps open and you're using your keyboard, you can Command Tab and it will bring you through all your open apps, and then you just land on the one that would open it up. My sort of thing with that is, if you're a VoiceOver user, you really only can be doing something in one app at a time still, because you can only get audio feedback and understand what it's saying from VoiceOver from one app at a time.
That makes sense. Maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of go through a few things that kind of popped out to me, and you guys can chime in if you want.
Yeah.
I was really interested in this Hold Assist. The Hold Assist, if you're not familiar with this, is a new feature within the phone app that allows you to put those people on hold. So like the other day, I was trying to call my doctors and I got this music tone that comes up. And basically how this works is that somehow the phone app will recognize that music that is on hold. So it pops up this little box that says, hey, would you like to use Hold Assist? And you double tap, say yes. And then it's just like, boop. You don't hear the music anymore, and you're back on your home screen, and I can go do about what I want. And then when it detects your voice, and then it will pop up to say, they're ready for you, and do you want to connect to that? And you say yes, and then it just connects you. Now, I was disappointed because I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a problem. So, for example, my doctor, when I was on hold, it does do music, but you guys know that, like, when it stops, it says, hey, did you know you can go Well, it recognized it as a person talking, and so it would just tell me the person's talking. So when I moved over, I heard them talking about what website. So it doesn't really technically work like I wanted to, but maybe it's because it's early beta, but I don't know how they would be able to differentiate that.
Well, here's the thing I kind of am thinking is it'll be great for the user, but if you're talking about the other side, people who are answering the phones and, doing whatever it is they're doing while you're waiting, they're, unless there's training on, that side, they're not going to know that they're going to come back and no one's going to be there, and they're just going to hang up, and you won't be able to get back to them fast enough, and you just waited on hold for an hour and a half, So
it's like the reverse of the dial that when the telemarketers or whatever call you, or the collectors, they're on a dialing system, and so that you get a call, and if you answer it, which I don't recommend answering it anyway, but if you do, sometimes there's a lag, and you're like, hello, and the people don't get notified that you answered and there's like a 5 or 6 second lag. So it's kind of the reverse of that, I guess.
Well, just to put both of your mind to ease, it does tell them. It tells them that please hold until I get the connector on for you. So it does tell them. They'll be on in a few moments. I think that's hilarious because they're always doing that to us. So what's going to happen to them when they hear that? They'll be like, huh? But it almost makes me wonder if that's going to be a problem because, they don't have the time to sit there and wait for you. So I wonder if they'll just disconnect on you because.
Does it tie up your phone line? So like you can't get other calls?
Well, but I mean, if it would be like call waiting, so somebody chimes in and you click over to whoever's chiming in on the other line, it'll disconnect you probably.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you'd have to let the other line go.
Exactly. So it does happen on that. Now, before I proceed on, I am really curious what you guys think of this new App Store for Accessibility nutritional label. I love that name. I'm like, seriously, nutritional label. And I had a discussion with Sarah Herlinger about that. I said, that is a weird naming convention you guys came up with because that's going to confuse so many people. But essentially in the App Store now, the developers now will see this when they submit their app to the store. They will now see this accessibility option where it's not required you to fill in, but it's right there in front. It says, is this voiceover accessible? Is this support dark mode and things like that, where they can select that and say yes. And so if they do select that, then within the Apple Store, when you open up a certain app and you're looking at it, and if they do choose it, you'll be able to see, yes, it supports voiceover. I'm curious what you guys, what your stance is on that. What do you think of that, Marty?
I think it's a good idea, but I think they're overthinking it a lot. If you're looking in the App Store, if you scroll down a little bit, usually it's the first thing past the comments or the people who give ratings. There is a thing that says like compatibility, and it will say compatibility works with this device. Those things. Mm-hmm. They should just put a box there, and if it works with VoiceOver, that's all they got to do. I mean, the whole purpose of it is that so somebody would know, does this app work with VoiceOver or does it not? It's the same thing as, is this app compatible with this device or not? Because that's really all it is down there. It just tells you, what this app is compatible with, in terms of the device you're on, and it says yes or no. So just to add a box to say it works with VoiceOver, yes or no, I mean, I think that's fine. I don't really think you need anything else. And that's good enough for people to not buy something that's going to ultimately turn out to not work with VoiceOver. So
I wonder if it puts it, if it knows, sometimes when you go to a website and it knows you're using a screen reader and it's, it says, okay, this is going to be optimized for that. If it knows you're using VoiceOver, if that would rank certain apps higher than others for the accessibility and they could use the nutrition labels for that purpose, or to maybe give the app a better rating or ranking on the, how fast it shows up on the search or whatever, if it's accessible.
That is an awesome suggestion and thought. I bet it doesn't now, but that's something I will definitely forward to Apple. That is a fantastic idea, because I always want to know if there's a way I can use a filter or some sort of app store to show me what has been selected. But that's not an option, but they're always there to listen to new thoughts. I would love that if it give it a higher ranking, if they just sense a VoiceOver. That would be beautiful. Mm-hmm. John, what's your thought on that, buddy?
I like it. I think it's a good idea. The more information we can gain, the better off we all are. And as long as they're going to make every effort to make all of that accessible, I say great.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I just don't know what I think about it, because developers are going to have to go and do it. And I just don't have faith that developers are going to take the time to check that box. We'll see. Right?
And is it going to be user tested? Is it going to be like, okay, we think it works with VoiceOver. When we turn VoiceOver on, it talks, but we don't use VoiceOver, and we don't, if I would think it would have to go through some native user type testing before they could say it's accessible.
You know what, Des? That's the sucky part. It doesn't. No, it is by the honor system. You believe that? My understanding.
Yeah, I believe it, sadly.
If you're a solid developer, though, you should design your app for everyone in mind. You shouldn't just, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't even be a thing. There's these services in there so that anyone could use the app. A good developer, and there's a lot of them out there, they just do it, because that's how you make an app that works for everyone. So if they don't want to do that, and now we have to go to whatever special label or whatever thing that, to try and push developers into doing it, I don't know. I mean, I'm personally, in my opinion, I think that if you're going to make an app or software, whatever you want to say, that, the developers should make it so that it works for everyone. That should just be right out of the box.
Yep. You
shouldn't even have to worry about asking a question. Does this work with VoiceOver or does it not? Or whatever accessibility feature that you need. So
it's the same for websites, but they don't sadly follow that rule.
Well, it's the same for Windows too. And then look at work experiences. Some companies are really good about that. Other companies are okay, and some are just terrible.
Awful.
Yeah.
This is a good first step. I told Sarah this is a great first step, but we got a lot more to work on. She realized that, and I even told her out on that. I said, seriously, an honor system. She kind of just said that that us is the one that's going to reach out to developers that this isn't right, and we are supposed to reach out to Apple to let them know that they did this wrong. And I'm thinking that shouldn't be the case.
That puts a burden on us that isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to do that responsibility, and it takes a lot of time out of our time. Can you imagine? But nonetheless, I thought that was a really, really cool new feature, and I think they can enhance on that. All right, now moving on, I am curious if you guys would you guys like to see a little show of 26? If I show you a few things and try to get your idea or your thoughts on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Here's a brand new one that just came out yesterday, and it's only for VoiceOver, and nobody's heard about this until a really good eye out there on our Apple website. Somebody found this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm pretty excited about it. And that is, your rotor. That's where we go and change your speech, characters, words, and things like that. However, there's a new thing called copy text. And this copy text now lives in your rotor. That is your new VoiceOver clipboard history. I was like, cool. Whoa, this is way overdue. It will remember the past 10 items that you copied to the clipboard. And let me show you. Let me bring up my device here. So when I activate my rotor.
Copied speech. iPhone 4 and FaceTime launched 15 years ago today. McRumors. 10:03.
So that's my last item that I copied. You heard that copy speech. Now, if I swipe down on that.
iPhone 17 Pro. 4 new camera features are coming this fall.
That's the previous item I clipped to the clipboard.
Apple improves Liquid Glass Control Center readability in iOS 26 Beta 2 Mac. Daily News.
Is that not cool? So if you want to use that and make that the active clip, so you just double tap on that item, and then when you go to paste it, it will remember that. That's going to be huge for me because I do a lot of cut and paste on a lot of different things, and usually it's more than one thing. So that's going to become very handy for me.
Do you know if that's cloud-based? If you're signed into iCloud, will that, say like you're on your phone and you copy something, will it go to the computer if you get back on your Mac or your iPad, or if you have multiple devices?
That's a great question. I don't know yet. That's something I'll have to find out for you, since it's so brand new that we're just now finding these things. I will find out for you, Marty. That's a great idea.
Just to balance
they have it on the Mac already, so it's a keyboard shortcut, but it's not. It doesn't. It's just local only.
Just to balance things out, here's a so-so question for you, Thomas. There are 2 or 3 different ways to copy things to the clipboard. Is it reacting to any particular way of copying it, or is it just the result that it's grabbing?
That's a great question.
No, it's a so-so question. Marty already asked the great question.
That's a great question because I start to notice it, and because it's beta doesn't mean it's not common. It only works when I do a 3-finger quadruple tap. So anytime I use that approach, because if I were to go to like text selection and grab a selected set of text, right? And then I use the row to go to edit and then hit copy. That doesn't remember that.
You have to select it first, then you can copy.
Correct, but if I select it and then copy it, but it doesn't show up in the clipboard, the copy speech feature.
Oh, yeah, because one's actually copying physical text and one's actually copying what VoiceOver is saying. So they're two different functions.
Maybe you're right. Maybe if I hit edit and then copy, then VoiceOver repeats that. Maybe then I can do a 3-finger quadruple tap and go and then
on the Mac platform, you can select, say, text, a paragraph of text, and do Command C, and it will copy it, and you can go paste that text that you copied, into another editor, notes, whatever you want to do. But if you do Command Shift C, then it will copy, the last thing VoiceOver actually said.
What do you think, Des? Is that going to be something useful for you or not?
I don't know. I use that edit, select all, copy thing a lot. I always forget about the quadruple 3-finger, and then I end up like turning my screen on and off.
Yeah.
But here, look at it in this kind of a workflow. Let's say you're in ChatGPT and you're happy with the last set of things that it gave you in terms of, the results of whatever you're looking for. Then you can do Command Shift C and it will copy it because that's what was the last thing VoiceOver said. And then you can go paste that text into a text editor.
But what if you're doing ChatGPT through Siri and you're not necessarily...
That's a different thing.
Yeah, like I can, if I hold down on what it, the result, sometimes I can get that context menu to come up and then I copy it that way. I wonder if that saves to the clipboard.
Well, if you're able to copy something and then it does, but Siri is different than VoiceOver.
Right.
So I don't think there's any way to copy Siri, but there is a way to copy VoiceOver.
Interesting.
The best part is that it's only beta 2. So this definitely, I can send some feedback saying, hey, I do want that copy to occur into the clipboard that we do from the edit. That's I'm with Des. I use that more often than I do with my copy to clipboard gesture. But nonetheless, coming to iOS, this is kind of I don't know, to me, it's kind of a big deal. This is like my new thing my newfound love that a actual feature that I will be able to use every day. So that is one thing I wanted to show you. Now, let me demonstrate this new phone app. Now, I've gotten a lot of mixed results on this. So at first, don't go crazy, because you are able to go back to the old classic view, but the new default view. So let me show you what the phone app looks like.
Phone, edit, button.
So now when you come into phone,
Calls, heading. Filter, button. Navbar, edit, button. Calls, heading, filter, button.
of course,
Call Mary, button. Call Christina, button.
so what you see now or hear is they combine your favorites with your calls to other things. So it's all in one screen. So the first thing that it jumps you to is towards the top, and these are your favorites. So this is where I have all my favorites. It says called Mary.
Call Sharon, button. Call Carol, button.
And those are your calls. So that you can double tap that and I'll call. So it's kind of like your favorite. Now it is broken down by headings, which is useful. So if I go by headings and go to the next item.
Is this supposed to be from your contacts you're doing this?
No, this is just the phone app.
Right,
Yeah.
but I mean, contacts is in the phone app on the phone. So I was wondering if you were just doing that on the computer the same way. If you open up the phone app on your iPhone,
Right.
at the bottom, you've got recents, you've got keypad, you've got, all of those. So
Let me show you that. I'll get back to that in a moment. I'll show you that. But so you got your recent. So these are the people that just recently called you.
2 missed calls from Michael Hansen. Incoming verified work. 2, 3, 31.
So it tells you all the people that called you, and that is where that shows up. So it's all on one page. Now, to answer Marty's question, if I go to the bottom left,
Tab bar. Selected. Calls. Tab. 1.
you have your calls, and then if you go to the right,
Contacts. Tab. 2 of
there's your
4.
contact,
oh, there you go. See,
Yeah,
the contacts
3 of 4.
is there.
keypad,
Search. Tab.
and
4 of 4.
search. So you notice that the favorites is gone, and you notice that the
voice message or voicemail is gone. It would be on a phone. If you open up the app, the voicemail would be the bottom to the farthest to the right, which now sounds like it's replaced with a search box.
That's correct. So you, on your very first tab, which is your call, you have your favorites, recent, voicemail, all in that first area. So that's how that looks. Now, what's weird is that if I go back to the call tab, so there's a filter button I'll have to find, but there's a button that says filter.
It was at the top, I think. Yeah, after the edit that had edit when you went through. I think it might have been at the top.
Button. Calls. Edit button.
No.
Keep going. Keep going.
Filter button.
There you go.
You heard it before. So they moved it to the top there, Desiree.
Yeah.
Very good, keen ears, guys. So yeah,
that's why we've got her on the show.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because I couldn't depend on you guys. I mean,
it's my trainer's head. Like, oh, yep, it said that.
I think there's something else here with this phone app that's really important for everyone to know, though. And I'm pretty sure this works the same way. But you have to go into the phone settings on your actual phone itself and turn on calls everywhere, because there's a feature in there or a setting where you can turn on calling everywhere, or whatever they want to call it, where if your phone rings, it will also ring on your iPad and ring on your, computer and all the places. If you turn that off, then it will only ring on your phone only. So, in all of these things to work, I believe you have to have that setting turned on your phone.
I don't know about that. I almost want to say no for...
How would you make an outgoing call, though, just from your computer?
True. I think it uses the phone to generate the phone number in some way or another. As a generic users that only use the iPhone, this is with the view that you're going to see automatically when you get 26 on your device. And the filter button is the only place where you can go, and what's in that filter button?
Filter, classic, button.
You got the classic view. So that's the only place you're going to be able to go. And so you double tap on classic and that goes back to the classic view. However, there are more things you can filter down, and which is kind of nice. You can customize how you want that screen to look.
I was just going to ask that.
Button.
Yeah.
Right. And
Can
so
you reorder that, like if I don't want my favorites to come up first, can you change the order that those things show up?
not that I'm aware of. You just get a cookie samples and it puts together. So let's take a look here.
Selected calls button.
So you got the option to turn on or off, but it doesn't really say you can move. Let me try swiping up.
Speech on. iPad Pro bezels could shrink more with OLED film changes. Johnny Ives OpenAI
No.
missed button. Selected calls button.
Nope. So you can either turn that on and off. So if you don't want to see calls, you can turn that option off.
Missed button.
So it has the miss. So my miss is not selected. That means it doesn't show up. But if I tap that, I'll get the miss along with that.
Voicemail button. Spam button. Manage filtering button.
So you can kind of sort of customize
What does
it.
the edit do? Does that give you the ability to reorder things?
Let's go look. I'm going to assume it only allows you to delete things. So let's go to edit.
Edit button. Setup name. Dismiss contacts menu button. Dismiss contacts menu button. Select button. Dismiss contacts menu. Dismiss contacts menu. Heading not found. Select button. Edit favorites button. Setup name and photo button. Setup name and photo button. Edit favorites button. Select button.
And just let you select, because that select feature is in messages. So if you tap that, then you can go down to your miss, and I can select if I want to do multiple batch deletion instead of just swiping up and hit delete. That's what the edit's for. So you can only edit one thing at a time. So that is the new phone app. I thought you guys be interested in seeing that.
Yeah,
now,
that sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
There is one thing I do not like, and a lot of people are starting to agree with me on this. The search bar that we come to love is always at the top. So in other words, if you're in mail, search is at the top. If you're in messages, search is at the top. If you're in Safari, search is at the top. Not anymore. They're all at the very bottom. So, for
They're
example,
making it the same as iOS then.
It drove me bananas, and there is no way to change that, unfortunately. So from now on, so for example, here's the one I really hate. So let me go back out.
Dock, phone, settings,
Go into settings,
settings.
and I always go to the bottom, go to the app.
Thomas Domville, Apple account, iCloud Plus, and more. Button. Toolbar, dictate, button.
You come
Double
right
tap to
down
start
to
dictation.
the dictate. And so if I go left,
Search field,
there's your search, and then go left,
apps, button.
there's your apps. And it's like that anywhere that you have search. So I'm not a big fan of that. I guess it's just something I'm just going to have to get used to, because I've gotten so used to knowing I could just do 4-finger tap the bottom or top real quick to do something. And so it's just more of a memory muscle, I suppose. But I'm curious what you guys think of that, because that is system wide.
I think it's something you have to get used to.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it might take a while, but once you get used to it, you adjust pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I
Easy
do.
said and done. I got a funny feeling. I know my AppleViz listeners out there. I know some of them are going to go really dislike that. And I've heard some complaints already on the beta feeds. And so I don't know. I seriously doubt they'll make the change to it just because of us, because that's those with vision will have the same thing. And
You
they
know,
seem
blind
to
people
like
like
it a
to
lot better.
complain. That's their goal in life, to complain. So
I think you'd be surprised though, because a lot of people complained about the new Mac logo design that's in the Finder. It's the Finder icon in the dock, you know. And so many people complained about it that now you can have the option to put it back to the original. You don't have to keep it on that new one. So if they're doing small changes like that, maybe they are listening a little bit more.
Well, we are pretty good complainers too. You know,
Yeah.
the community is not known for complainers and whiners. No way. And one last thing I'll show you is within Safari. Let me show you what the Safari has changed.
Home, settings,
Just when we got used to Safari from going from the top to the bottom, right? Well, they rearranged the bottom.
dock, phone, double Safari, double
Now when you go in Safari now,
text field is editing.
at the very bottom now, bottom right,
More, button,
you have a more button. Remember that used to be your, I think it used to be your tab button.
Tab, yeah.
Yeah. And if you go left,
refresh, button,
you have refresh,
address, Disney World. Disney,
address,
page menu, button,
page menu,
action back, dim,
back.
button,
And that's all in one line at the very
Wait,
bottom.
refresh is to the left now?
Yes.
It's not a 3-finger swipe down anymore?
You can do that as well. It's
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's
Okay.
an additional thing. So they redid the bar. So you used to have 2 lines, and you used to have bookshare, goodness gracious, bookmarks and things like that towards the bottom, and share, which used to be down there, not anymore. So it's very compact. Good news, you can change that. So you can go back to the way it was at the bottom or at the top. But the more button now this is where I think it takes a lot more steps, because I use my bookmarks a lot. So if I go to more,
button, share, button,
now I get to my share.
add bookmark, button, add bookmark to, button, new tab, button, new private tab, button, bookmarks, button,
Finally, I got to the bookmarks, and to me, you can already tell where I'm going with this direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot
Convoluted. It's a little bit too much.
So the good news is that you can turn that back, but the point of the demonstration is that when people see this when this comes out, they're going to say, "This is it. I hate it." Just to know you can change that. You'll have to go under Safari, under settings, and make it go back to the way you used to. So thankfully, under phone and Safari, you can change that. Again, this is kind of a memory muscle kind of a thing. I've gotten a little more used to it, kind of, sort of. I don't know how I feel about it at this moment, but that is how the Safari looks. So I thought I'd concentrate on those areas where I think people are going to see immediately when they update to 26 how that is going to alter you, because those are the 2 areas I use the most, Safari and my phone, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that, what do you guys think of what you've seen so far?
I think there's cool features there. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure that anything is groundbreaking necessarily, but so, some cool new features are in there, I guess. I mean, it depends on the person too, in this day and age, a lot of people, especially the younger generations, they don't ever use the phone. They don't care about the phone. I mean, you can call them and they'll never ever answer, but you can text them or find them on social media and they'll answer you back like in 2 seconds. So
true. I guess for old timers like us, I'm talking to myself, not anybody else. You're right. Messages is probably the heavily used when it comes to my kids. So they never call dad. Hell no, they wouldn't call dad. They just message dad, or they'll just tell me, "Why are you calling me? Message me." But is there anything you guys have heard about and you want me to kind of tell you anything more, or are you guys pretty much good in what
I would say the one thing I'm kind of curious about is some of these new features that. Like the copy. I wonder if now that, well, at least I should say on the Mac platform, you can save things through Spotlight on the clipboard. More than one thing, it will save it to the clipboard. I wonder if some of these features like that are going to sync across your devices as long as you're logged into your iCloud account. Or I should say the same iCloud account on all your devices.
Definitely something I have to get back with you on. I can say one thing that I thought was pretty cool that does go across, and that is what Des was kind of hinting earlier about the new sharing your accessibility settings with someone else so you can use it temporarily, is that if you make any changes to your voiceover settings, so if I change a voice here, it will automatically go over the cloud and change it on my iPad or Mac.
See, that's awesome because that's just so much better.
I would guess if you had to, you back up your phone and you have to restore a new phone from backup, that it would back up those things too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
definitely. Because it says it goes right into iCloud. So let me show you where that is real quick. So you go to settings. And from settings, you go to the right until you get to accessibility.
Privacy and secure, Game Center, iCloud, Wallet and Apple, Apps, button. Wallet and iCloud, but settings, Thomas, family, Apple News, add Apple Care. There are 4 airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, personal hotspot, battery, button, VPN, general, but accessibility, button.
From here,
alert, accessibility settings would like to send you notifications.
Oh.
Notifications, don't allow, button, allow, button.
I'd be curious what
settings,
that means.
Accessibility.
Never. So you just go to
Well, I think it's on the rotor, isn't it?
Nope. It's at the very bottom of accessibility.
Share accessibility settings, button.
There you go.
And double tap that.
Sync to iCloud, dimmed, switch button, on, sync to iCloud, switch button, on.
Which is
double tap
cool.
to toggle setting.
So that explained to you, Des, it does go to the cloud. And if you have that on, that's how it goes across to your multiple devices. But
when enabled, settings from this device will sync to other devices signed into your Apple account and will be available when sharing accessibility settings from those devices.
And if you go right one more.
Share accessibility settings, button.
There's that button that you were talking about earlier. And that is, if you double tap that, then it'll say, go near to another phone, and then it will pick it up from there. So it's kind of out of the way. I wish I'll be curious if I can assign a gesture if that's something I want to use often. But so that's where that's at.
So when you share across your own devices, does that include like your voice setting? Like if I put Alex or whatever, is that going to mean that every device I have is going to use the same voice?
So, you would think so. I mean, you would think it would just copy all your settings from whatever device.
But I use different, like my Mac, I use a different voice than I use on my phone.
You probably would have to turn the syncing off then, so it doesn't change on your other devices if they're different.
Interesting.
That's a good question, Des. I will have to experiment and get that back with you. So like you said, if just say I have Alex as default on my Mac, but I use Tom on my iPhone. And
right.
If I change it on, will that change to that on the Mac and get rid of my Alex? Good question.
And the watch, does the watch get affected?
Yes, it does.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you have multiple devices and they're not all signed into the same iCloud account, then
right. But all mine are. They're all on the same. But like for my watch, I prefer one voice. Like I don't know. There's just certain times when I want one over the other.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And like I use my personal voice on my phone, and I can't use it on my watch right now. It doesn't work. So I wonder if I use that, is it going to go across all of my if I buy an iPad.
Wow, personal voice, that's a whole different thing. I don't know, Des. I almost want to say no, that's not going to go over, but I could be wrong. I definitely have to test that because that's not kind of a standard voiceover voice.
No, but it does work with I have it saved and it works on my Mac and my phone if I want it to.
Right.
But not the watch. The watch doesn't do it for whatever reason. It's not even a choice on the watch.
Well, we're going to wrap it up, guys. I thought we'd make this a little shorter than we typically do. There hasn't been a lot of news, and so I thought maybe we just concentrate a couple topics during the slow time of summer. And unless we get some more news next month, we'll go over those things. And we'll definitely talk about what we know about the iPhone 17 that's coming up. There are some few things I think you guys should know about, and I think you'd be interested. So we'll definitely talk about that next month. But it is a pleasure to have all of you, especially Desiree, coming on board, and got our guys of John and Marty to join with us for the June show. And it is great to have you guys back. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
We look forward to July.
Excellent. Yeah. And you guys have fun. Are you both going to ACB or NFB conventions?
I'm going to ACB.
I'm not.
In July this year.
And you're staying home, Marty?
Well, I'm going to be traveling other places and stuff.
Oh, you got real stuff to do. You got to do work.
Yeah.
But I think you said you're doing vacation and work. So,
yeah.
Well, both of you have a great month, and we'll talk to you, all three of you, later on. Bye-bye, guys.
This podcast was brought to you by the community at applevis.com. Applevis, empowering people who are blind, deafblind, or who have low vision to get the most from Apple products and related technologies. A proud member of the Be My Eyes family. For more information, visit our website at www.applevis.com.